these two women sit right next to me at the bar. And one of them just goes, if I could have sex with every man on earth, I would. I thought, you haven't even got to the bubbles yet. Wait till you started drinking at least. Now shut up, would you? I'm learning about agave here. Hello and welcome to Talk Spooky to Me, the Ghost Story Guys mail show. I'm Brennan Storr.
I'm Paul Bestel.
And this is our opportunity to hear from you, our audience. Paul Bestel, my friend, how you doing?
I'm all right, my friend. Spring is still here. Clocks have still gone forwards. My brain still feels like mush. But we're okay. We're all right. How about you?
My brain is also mush, so we are equally matched today. Although I did have a great story, finally, of where I wasn't the most awkward person in a room. So a couple of days before I went back to Victoria for my birthday, I drove into the city to catch a movie and to catch a book reading. Now, it was a number of authors at another story bookshop in Roncesvalles in Toronto. And one of the authors is an old classmate of mine from Revelstoke who has a book coming out next month. By the time folks hear this, it'll be this month. The book is called The Fall Down Effect. It's by Liz Johnston. You can get it pretty much wherever you get your books. But when I saw that she was doing a reading that day, I thought, oh, shit, well, I'll do that before the movie. And it was, I would say maybe 20, 30 people max at this thing. It's a lovely bookshop. And I, of course, with my shaved bald head, look like a criminal. I am out of place in anywhere that involves learning. I get suspicious looks. And I thought, boy, am I out of place here. Now, thankfully, I had a little wine in me because I went to check out Boston Nova Wine Bar beforehand. So I had a few glasses in me to sort of even things out. But it turns out I wasn't the most clueless person there, because one of the authors who was reading was this young man who has either the arrogance of youth, giant clanking brass balls, or is completely unable to read a room. And I say this because every other person who spoke before that young man got up on stage, they read from their stuff. So that Liz, again, reading from her book about family and generational trauma and environmentalism. A young lady who described herself as a former Mennonite, having been born down near Durango, Mexico. She performed a bunch of her poems from her new upcoming book, one of which is about her inability to afford Spotify Premium. That's real. That's a real thing. And there's a bunch of other stuff, mostly poetry, a lot, again, dealing with generational trauma, things like this. And all very good. But then this young man gets up there and he's reading a selection from his horror novel. No, just sit down. Sit down before you make this any worse. You said the words horror novel, and I felt a chill sweep across the audience, like Mr. Freeze had just kicked down the door. So we go from Mother Held My Hand to, and then the killer bees that eat people and turn them into honey. This is the only thing we still have to eat here in this post-apocalyptic future. And boy, oh boy, did he not understand how badly he had fucked up, because he kept going. He just kept pushing. No, you want to hear more of this. Clearly you want to hear more of this about cyclopean bees striding through the mist. Holy shit. I'm sitting there going, that guy sure is fucking autistic. Oh, man. And I got to give the audience credit. They were very supportive. The hosts were very, very good. But it was only because no one thought to bring tomatoes that they didn't throw them at him.
Yes. If they've had some, they would have used them.
1,000%. You bet your sweet ass they would have.
Yes. It's difficult sometimes, because last week at the quiz, we had to do a tiebreaker at the end because we'd done well. Our best performance so far in our new team. But I can't remember if we finished second or third. Anyway, I think we finished second. Tie. I'd had a few. But because it was a tiebreak, we had to have a paper aeroplane off. So basically we had to make a paper aeroplane, and then whoever threw it the furthest won. And so the other team, they went first, and he threw it, and it literally went about a foot, and then it just went phew and flew behind bar. But then you've got massive pressure, haven't you? Because you think, well, this is easy, isn't it? Because he's like gone a foot. And I just thought, shall I throw it around? And I just thought, no. Slow and steady, and it just flew beautifully. Thanks to Dav, one of our listeners, who's part of the quiz team. He used his aeronautical skills to create a beautiful tail for my paper aeroplane that gave it a right amount of leverage and uplift to easily help us romp to the 3 free pints that we've won.
Fabulous. Dav, you are my hero.
Team of 3 only beaten by a team of 11 who were cheating.
Christ. This is what it takes to mimic even a fraction of our power.
Exactly. There was 11 of them and they beat us by 2 points and they were cheating all the way through. And there were 3 of us. We were a man down and we still got 29.5 and we were drinking and they weren't.
And I have to say, this also brought me one of my favorite things that's happened in like the last year, which is a drunken voice message from you explaining why Commando is a feminist film. And that just made me so fucking happy. And also, I had just finished watching a movie where Vernon Wells appears, who of course is the villain in Commando. And I tried to screen cap it because he was wearing the most ridiculous costume and it wouldn't let me. So our messages would have crossed each other about Commando.
True, though.
100%.
Nothing that man wouldn't do for his daughter. And he treats Ray Donchon's character with respect, and she saves his life twice.
All right, well, on this episode, we are not debating whether or not Arnold Schwarzenegger is the leader of fourth wave feminism. We are, however, here to answer listener mail.
Our courteous and efficient staff is on call 24 hours a day to serve all your supernatural elimination needs.
We're ready to believe you.
All right, so we're going to do a quick roundup of some selections from Spotify. This first one is the most recent one, and I just... Sometimes it's funny when people comment on the oldest shows and it takes you a minute to figure out what they're talking about. And in this instance, this person is commenting on our 9th show, Goddamn the Shadow Man, which is, again, I believe episode number 9. And the Saint Gutfree 03 says, the scariest part of this episode was that Lord song at the end. And I know exactly what song he means. It's I Know the Lord by Ian Gibbs. And I got to tell you, Saint Gutfree, despite everything, I will still go to the mat for that song. That is a good song. That whole album is good. So I'm happy you're listening, but you are wrong about that song. That song rules. It's ruled the whole time. My feelings don't make it a bad song.
Mm. Talking of songs, there's some evidence that the world is beginning to heal.
Do tell.
Because Scooter are back.
Miraculous.
With a brand new single, The Ray from Outer Space. I'm going to send you the link so you can enjoy this beauty.
Okay.
And just focus on the lyrics, Brennan.
Oh. I'm in love with an alien. This is David Huggins' theme song.
It is, yeah. But wait till the big man starts to spit lyrical fire at you.
This rules.
Are you thinking to yourself, has he just said Humpty Dumpty the raving egg?
Yes.
He has.
Okay. I will say I have the captions turned on.
Yes.
And unfortunately, because they're auto-generated, they're not entirely correct. And they're substituting the P for the V in Wraith, which kind of changes the tenor of the song if I'm just looking at the lyrics.
Good God.
Yeah, no, this is, folks, check out Rave from Outer Space by Scooter. This is good shit.
We're back to the heydays of, is it a bird, is it a plane? No, it's Dave and he's on the train.
Okay. Well, and after Dave, we have Ian Deacon on Spotify. Take it away.
Ian says, that's the second podcast in 2 days where I've heard the piss troll mentioned. I'd literally never heard of them before yesterday, which is strange given that I'm from the Midlands as well, which is the kind of thing the piss troll would say.
Well, I told him if he hears about it a third time, he's going to want to buy a tarp. What I want to know is, what's the other show that mentioned the Birmingham piss troll, and how quickly can we get them on our show?
It's the Piss Troll podcast.
Man, I wonder who hosts that one. They keep their identity secret. I don't know why. Wet Willie is the name he goes by.
Yeah. Who is dealing with the Piss Troll? Who else has weird listeners?
We should call up Serial is what we should do. There's your 4th season.
Serial,
Who is the piss troll?
It's probably a former member of Black Sabbath, isn't it? Down on their luck.
Happens to the best of us. Not the bridge thing. Not that. No. I don't know how you end up there, but being down on your luck happens to all of us.
I've never been that down on my luck.
Next up, Dana says, the bit about Hitler being a nerd had me choking on my morning coffee. My household is a nerd house. We have a thing about evil nerds. Nerds who use their big brain for evil. Gates is an evil nerd. Jobs was an evil nerd, etc. Never thought about Hitler because he's always just been the monster, but yeah, he fits the criteria. Hey there, folks. So the show gets a little bit jumbled here for a sec, and that's because at this moment, while I was reading the comment, my stereo receiver, which is at the other end of my apartment, is not in any way connected to the computer or anything that I use to make the show. It turned itself on. And now that's weird, but to make it weirder still, it turned itself on to the tuner, the FM tuner, which is why you heard a little bit of static there. I only just bought the thing. I've never actually used the tuner. It's always set to phono, so I can play records. So again, I don't know why it did that. I'm not saying it's anything spooky, but it does seem weird. And so I thought I would keep it in the show, keep it as natural as possible, let you guys decide for yourselves. Maybe some of you have an idea that I don't. And so everything you hear past this point is me and Paul reacting to that. Back to the show. My receiver just turned itself on to static.
Why not?
I've never used the tuner on there before.
It's a bit strange.
That is odd. That is odd. Okay, anyways.
Well, this is what happens when you mention the piss troll too many times.
Well, it did sound like a very powerful stream of water. I was concerned.
There you are. You say his name enough and he starts pissing through appliances.
I got Canel's working on some video stuff for us. I should have him come up with a piss troll theme. Piss troll! There we go.
Golden showers from above, it's piss troll. Yeah, it's piss troll. Yeah. There you go.
All right, well, I'm going to send him that and see if he can't put a beat to it. Anyways, that got really weird. I don't know, folks.
Should see me on a night out, mate.
I heard you, so. Yeah. All right, so like we said, Dana says, never thought about Hitler being a nerd because he's always just been a monster, but yeah, he fits the criteria. On the bright side, we also have hero nerds like Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson. I hate to be the one to kill your buzz on this one. Neil deGrasse Tyson, not a good guy. He is a sex pest. Allegations began to arise in 2018. They are not nice, unfortunately.
Yes, and they've not gone away either.
Yeah, no, hate to be that guy. He's not Hitler, but he's. I mean, and Bill Nye's apparently a son of a bitch too. But at least he's just a regular bastard. But on the Hitler nerd thing, I do think that's a really important thing to bear in mind, right? Because the unfortunate thing that's happened in the years since, the Second World War is like this weird mythology has crept up around those fuckers, that they were like super competent and super like evil and stylish and like efficient and smart, and they weren't any of those fucking things. They just weren't. They were a bunch of creepy losers who managed to wangle control of a country that was badly struggling. I remember like Jojo Rabbit. Everyone got pissed about that movie because they said, "Oh, they're not like these guys are. You're making them. Some of them are funny." Well, yeah, man. Some of them were. They had friends. They had family. They weren't like snarling beasts. They look like people in your life. This is why this shit came around again, because they look like people in your life, and everyone's like, "Oh, Uncle Bob wouldn't be that. He's just Uncle Bob." Yeah. Also, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, and plus also the fact that they were secretly building up a massive army against all international treaties that nobody was aware of. And so whilst everybody else had agreed not to increase their armies and build tanks and all that shit, they just went, So by the time Second World War kicked off, after they'd annexed half of Eastern Europe by this point anyway, which everybody forgets, and so by the time they rode into Poland in 1939, they'd already taken several countries by this point. They were massive. And their army was that, they turned up to invade the Polish. Polish didn't have any tanks. They had a horse cavalry. So, this is why they were able to just sweep through, because everybody else was still remembering the First World War. That had a lot to do with it, because everybody else was faffing about trying to be nice. And they were just went, yeah, all right. That's why their submarine fleet, they built the world's biggest submarine fleet in secret. So when it all kicked off, they were miles ahead of everybody. So that's why they were able to sweep through Europe, because nobody could do anything.
Yeah, so remember, they were sneaky bitch-ass nerds.
Yeah, who broke international law.
Doesn't mean make them less dangerous.
No.
But, we should be able to make fun of these pricks, because to mythologize them, to be like, oh, they're so tough and strong, they love that shit. Because that's how they see them, that's how they want to be seen. But they're all just a bunch of bitch-ass nerds. Evil bitch-ass nerds, to use your definition, Dana. I like it.
Yeah, who were recruiting children by the end of the war.
Exactly.
No Superman here.
Just a bunch of punks.
Bitch-ass punks at that.
Bitch-ass punks. That's it for Spotify, and we are going to take a quick break for some ads.
Next up, Jam says, "Hey guys, I just wanted to reach out quickly to say I was having a super shitty day yesterday, and as a result, super shitty mental health due to some unexpected changes in my life. I opened up my podcast app to queue up episodes for work and saw the newly posted What's Haunting Pennsylvania episode. It genuinely made me smile to see an episode I had requested when I sent in my story to be posted the morning after a really rough night. It's like it was synchronised with exactly what I needed today. This might sound hyperbolic for a podcast episode, but you guys genuinely always make my day. Much love to you both. I hope you both have something in your life that makes you wake up and smile when things get rough in life. Thanks for always being hopeful and for the love you bring in doing so." Oh, thanks, Jam.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm happy that the timing worked out and the episode arrived in time to perk up your day some.
We try our best.
We do. It's funny, actually. I was listening to a news bit, or was it the news? No, I was reading an article, and they were talking about how some old school podcasts are starting to wind up. Like Try Guys, it was one of them. They've been around for a long time, and they've recently announced they're bringing the show to an end. And there was a couple other they mentioned as well that like kind of long-term shows. And I feel it is that time. I feel like we're in this real transitional period in our industry. You know, like obviously the economy is very bad with everything that's happening right now, from the war to all the tariffs to all this bullshit just causing instability across the world. Yeah, it's a privilege to be able to still keep going despite all this, you know?
Nuclear apocalypse can't stop me. I'll be broadcasting from the bunker.
Well, yeah, I mean, as long as I have enough mutant hands to keep editing, I should be fine.
Be like one of those number stations.
I mean, no one's going to have a computer, so it'll have to be a live broadcast.
Oh, there's always somebody prepared, Brennan. I was watching The Twilight Zone taught you nothing.
Yeah, it taught me my glasses are going to break.
Just as you find the library.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my microphone will break. There was time now. There was time. Next up is from our patron Liam, who sent us this message on Patreon. And he says, "A rule of thumb when ordering a cheesesteak. If it's listed on the menu as a, quote, Philly cheesesteak, don't order it. It's the equivalent of New York pizza. Cheesesteak, like pizza, requires no geographical modifier if properly done. Hopefully enjoy it with an A-treat birch beer." And 100%, it's like poutine. If it's got to be like authentic poutine or whatever, no, don't do it. Or Canadian poutine or any of that shit, no, don't do it. And if the cheese is shredded, you tell them to go fuck themselves. Those are cheesy chips. That's not poutine. Big difference.
Yes.
Have you had birch beer, Paul?
No.
It is an acquired taste. There is, birch beer. No, I mean, birch beer is like root beer.
Right.
So, that I was thinking spruce beer. Spruce beer is a whole other animal.
I'm unaware of the taste of either.
Oh, well, when you come over, we'll get you loaded up on... birch beer is fantastic. There's a company called Boylan's that makes a red birch beer that's very, very tasty.
I was hoping we'd go on a Molson or Coors bender.
We got lots of... Have we ever done anything by half? We can go on 2 benders at one time. Give me a break. Come on.
The next up is from our listener, Big Paul D. "Hey fellas, Big Paul here, new Patreon member and possibly your most travelled follower. I'm currently in Gambia. See the attached image with me rocking a GSG t-shirt. And I've enjoyed reading about this quirky little country's myths and legends. My favourite being the Ninky Nanka, the hippo donkey crocodile giraffe hybrid, a portent of doom with a Medusa-like stare. As a lover of natural history, I've also been reading about the ultra-rare Gambian leopard, which reminded me of a sighting I had of an alien big cat in the UK. Ooh. Now, Big cat sightings are not unusual in the States, Canada and beyond, but in the UK there's something of an anomaly, and much contested amongst country folk, city dwellers and natural historians. In September 2002, I was staying with friends, one of which is a fellow GSG follower, hello Ben, at a large manor house in Somerset. Parts of the house dated back over 700 years, and it was a beautiful but spooky place, this being backed up by comments from past visitors in the house guest book, with everything from disembodied voices, shadow figures, and ghostly harpsichord music. My bedroom backed onto a large garden which overlooked open countryside, and the property was situated between another house and a dairy farm, both of which were some distance away. During the early hours, I got up to go to the toilet, and upon my return, I noticed that the security light for the parking area, which was behind a 10-foot brick wall with a solid gate, was illuminated. I looked out of the window, but could see nothing, so I returned to bed. Moments later, the light came back on, and so I opened the window to get a better look, but still couldn't see anything. All I could hear were the cattle lowing in the farm next door, so again I returned to bed. A few moments later, the light came on once more, but being too lazy to drag my arse out of bed, I ignored it on this occasion. That was until I noticed that the cows in the dairy farm next door had gone completely silent. Again, I looked out of the window towards the area lit by the security light, but on this occasion, I could hear the sound of something moving in the undergrowth. I kept looking, and moments after the lights went out, I could see a dark animal walking along the limestone gravel path that ran along the rear of the house. At first I thought it was a dog, as it was far too big to be a fox or a badger, but as it got closer, I could clearly see, in the bright moonlight, its paws flicking up as it walked, just the way like a big cat walks. I was absolutely stunned as this creature walked directly below the window I was looking out from, and could see without any doubt that this was a large black cat. It had a snub nose, not a snout like a dog. Its head was held quite low, and its shoulders were very muscular. Its body was as long as a German shepherd, but its legs appeared quite short in comparison to its body length. Its tail was long and curved down to the ground, but flipped up at the tip, which was very slightly more bushy than the rest of its tail. It slowly ambled directly beneath me, less than 4 meters away, and headed towards the woodshed where, a few hours earlier, I'd been collecting wood for the fire. I stayed utterly transfixed by what I was seeing as it disappeared from view, for I could hear it moving through the bushes towards the middle in the garden. It then appeared by the base of an old sundial, and its form was clearly visible in the bright moonlight. It sat motionless for 10 seconds or so, then started leaping and pouncing just like a house cat within the small grassy area around the sundial. People have asked me why I didn't run to get my camera or wake my housemates, but I was so transfixed at what I was witnessing that it was the last thing on my mind. It stayed by the sundial for some time, occasionally leaping and jumping on the spot, as though it was attempting to catch something, just like how you see Arctic foxes on TV documentaries leaping high to come down deep into the snow catching prey. I remembered a few evenings previously, when I'd been in the garden, that I could hear mice or rats squeaking and scurrying around beneath the sundial, where there was obviously a void, and I believe it was the rodents that had drawn the cat's attention. It was at this point I realised that I needed to capture the cat on camera, and as I stepped back from the window, I must have inadvertently touched the window latch, which subsequently fell with a clunk. This clearly startled the cat, as it stood up and stayed absolutely motionless for a few seconds, before bounding off over a small neat at the bottom of the garden and into the countryside below. I retained my place at the window for about 20 minutes, hoping that it would return, but all that happened was the cattle at the nearby dairy farm began lowing again, as if relieved that a predator had left the vicinity. Suffice to say, I didn't get much sleep that night, and in the morning I ventured into the garden to see if I could find any evidence. I could see nothing in the limestone gravel path until I got low to the ground. I could then make out footprints which were darker than the surrounding gravel. The difference in tone could have possibly been caused by the dampness overnight, but as there only appeared to be footsteps from a bipedal animal, I discounted it at the time. The grassy area where I'd seen the cat leaping, however, showed clear signs of damage, as though it had been slashed with a blade. When I told my friends, my story was met with a few raised eyebrows until one pointed out that the big cats walk on their own footprints to reduce making a noise, which explained why the footprints in the gravel appeared to be those of a two-legged animal. When we examined the footprints in the ripped turf, their opinion changed somewhat. I did take photos of the gravel path and the torn turf, but the images did not clearly show what could be seen in real life, and the digital copies have now been lost or deleted over time. The following night, we set up a zero-lux video camera in the garden and left the lawn strewn with bits of meat. However, all the camera captured was a perplexed-looking gardener as he arrived to do some work at 8 a.m. As I had left a damage deposit with the homeowner, I contacted her upon my return home to request repayment of the deposit and also mention my sighting. She suggested that we had either been speaking to the landlord of the local pub, the Red Tile, who had apparently also seen the cat pulling her leg, or I had actually witnessed the big cat that had been sighted around Bridgwater and Puritan for the last few years. It was quite telling that despite no previous knowledge of these sightings, I too witnessed a large black cat roaming the Somerset countryside. Not long after my return, I wrote to a few sites which recorded sightings, but, as was often the case during the early days of the internet, I never received an acknowledgement. The vivid memory of that large black beast, however, has imprinted itself on my brain, and I feel privileged to have seen such a magnificent animal. Although I can appreciate the counter-argument that there's not enough wilderness in the UK to support a population of wildcats, what I witnessed has convinced me that there are, or have been, big cats living in the wild in the UK. What do you guys think? Big P.
There's a picture of Paul looking all stylish.
Very nice.
So I'm curious, what do you think? Because I'm surprised to hear about it near Bridgwater.
I'm 100% convinced they're here.
Okay.
I don't need any further evidence. I've seen enough. I know enough. They're here.
Okay, there we go. And I know we've talked a number of times about some pretty credible sightings. Some videos you've shown me pretty clearly show what to me look like a puma or something
Yep.
vaguely panther-like.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. They're reported from the tip of Scotland to the bottom of Cornwall and everywhere in between.
Fascinating. I think even more fascinating than their appearance is just the fact that so many people refuse to admit it's possible. They're like in the face of overwhelming sightings, they're still just going, no, absolutely not.
Ironically, we've had a series start here called Britain's X-Files that's been running the last few weeks. And last week they were talking about the Beast of Bodmin, which is a very famous mystery black cat case that the army got sent in to try and kill it. And they didn't. They saw it, they tried to kill it, and it escaped. And they basically just dismissed the whole thing. They had a couple of folklorists who knew jack shit about the whole thing. And basically just trotting out. There was an author called Merrily Harper a few years ago who wrote this absolute nonsensical bullshit, essentially claiming that black cat sightings are the modern version of black shuck sightings, and that's what people are seeing. None of them are real, and it's all people just seeing shucks, which I find just beyond stupid, to be fair. That for someone to dismiss the reality of one of the most adaptable creatures on this planet. I remember one of the excuses was, well, it's too cold here. Have you heard of the Siberian tiger? Do you know where they live? Right? So, and they just basically dismissed it and said, oh yeah, it's just people. And it's just nonsensical. But once again, it's one of those where people of a certain educational standard like to dismiss the majority of witnesses because they're working class or working people or people in the countryside. So as far as they're concerned, they're all country bumpkins. All farmers are idiots. Anybody who lives in Devon or Cornwall or Gloucestershire or Somerset, all that area is a massive area for black cat signs. All of them. And hardly anybody lives in there. Like they were saying, like Paul mentions there, people are saying that there isn't enough wildlife here. Of course there is. Of course there is. The deer population in this country has never been higher.
Oh, interesting.
Because they're protected. So we've got enormous herds of deer now with no predator. Because we've killed all the predators in this country. And the other aspect is, there's been over 50 non-native big cats killed in this country since 1976. We've got police finding bodies of dead big cats in freezers. Matter of fact. We've got DNA evidence. Matter of fact. On bones and in scat. So they are here. And I've said this, and it's dreadful. The only way the authorities in this country will deal with this is if somebody gets seriously, seriously hurt. That'll be it. That's it. Because they're just, it's nonsense. They're clearly here. You know, people can't find a domestic cat in a garden. Never mind you only look, I mean, a cat's range on average is between 200 to 300 miles. They're constantly travelling. They sleep in trees. They don't like people. They avoid people. They're quick, they're ferocious, they're intelligent. But once again, because we're humans, we think, easy peasy, it's only an animal. It's nonsense to dismiss the idea that big cats, not just black cats, but big cats are living in the United Kingdom is a matter of fact. Simple as.
No, I agree. I agree completely. I have no problem believing that you saw what you say you did, Paul. Not in the slightest.
Absolutely. I mean, see, this is the other thing. He's got things he can judge it against, because this is always the other argument that people are idiots. They don't know what cats look like. If they see a cat, they'll take a picture. Oh no, it's just a cat. You know, and there's been a few amusing stories like the Birdwell lion here in Yorkshire, which turned out to be a dog with alopecia, which was brilliant. So they're the stories that they'll always regurgitate to say people are idiots. Farmers know it's happening there. People who live in the countryside know it's happening there. But officially they don't exist. There's no evidence for it, but there is. Simple as that.
Boggles my mind. Well, thank you, Big Paul, and we always appreciate you, my friend. If you are as well-traveled as our good friend Big Paul, let us know. GhostStoryGuys@gmail.com. Paul has sent us photos of himself listening to our show on a glacier in Iceland, now in Gambia. Again, keep them coming, my friend. I'm living vicariously through you.
Yes, I always love Paul's updates. So thank you for taking the time to send us pictures, my friend. It's greatly appreciated.
Very much so.
And a great name.
While I do some heavy visualization exercises, we're going to take a quick break for some ads and come back with one last email. Welcome back. So before we get started, Paul, before we read this last email, rather, I got to tell you about this thing that happened when I was in Victoria. So I have a bar that I like to go to called the Humboldt. I will go there at least, usually I can only afford to go once a trip because the drinks are not cheap, but it is wonderful. The bartenders are all top notch, very interesting people, very talented people. They know drink back to front. They know the individual spirits back to front. They know their shit. So the night I went there, it was dead quiet when I arrived. Sat at the bar as I always do, and a fellow named Zach was working. Great guy, as I mentioned. All the bartenders there I've met have been cool. And he says to me, this one particular drink we have, if you like it, he said, it's coming off the menu. And I had not tried it. And so I told him that. And I said, why is it coming off the menu? And he pulls out this bottle. It is a clear bottle with a brown label on it. He said, it's because of this stuff. He said, this is in it. He said, this stuff is really expensive. You have to buy it by the case. And no one really likes it. He said, but I love it. And I said, okay, well, what is it? And he said, it's called Sotol. Now, are you familiar with Sotol?
No.
Okay, so Sotol is like a mezcal, except, and now I'm not going to get into the really deep differences because I don't know enough. It's not made from agave, as I understand it. It's made from something similar to agave. But in addition to all the things that it is distilled with, during a period of the distillation process, they hang a cut of venison inside the still.
Mm.
And so it has this meaty, smoky, and super intense flavor. I've never tried anything like it. And I was into it. And when he saw I was into it, he was fucking thrilled. Because all of a sudden he's like, well, let me tell you. So for the next 2 hours, I sat there and was educated on agave beverages by this fella. And I had I don't know, I think I paid for 5 or 6 samples. He slipped me a couple of different things. But I learned there's this also thing called pechuga, which is mezcal, but it's fermented with poultry.
Mm.
So it's also got sort of a meaty, smoky, I don't know, it's very odd, but it tastes better than you think. Although the Sotol, he didn't have any of the Pachuga, but he had the Sotol. The Sotol, that shit has bite. Like I told you, I can drink a lot of tequila. I had one Sotol and I went, oh, I'm going to need a minute. Let's just, and this is a sipping thing, right? You're not doing shots of this, you're sipping this. But even so, it's just like, no. So after that, and then I tried another one's called, I think Raicio. I won't get into it, because again, no one gives a shit, but another lovely mezcal-based drink. But these two women come in. They sit right next to me at the bar. And one of them just goes, if I could have sex with every man on earth, I would. I thought, you haven't even got to the bubbles yet. Wait till you started drinking at least. Now shut up, would you? I'm learning about agave here.
That's usually somebody with no social cues trying to hit you up.
Oh, well, boy, were they barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah, that's the thing with autism.
All right, so, well, now that I've admitted way too much personal shit about myself and how my brain works, go try Sotol if you have a chance, folks. It's really good shit. It's not vegan, but it is, if you like tequila and tequila-adjacent shit, it is very, very good. And Raicia as well. Very, very, very good stuff.
A world of meat-infused cocktails awaits you, because that is a thing.
Oh, is it?
They use bacon or duck fat.
Oh, no shit. Okay. I don't think I would enjoy that. This was tasty, but on its own.
Well, what they do is they basically use it, and they use the fat until it solidifies, and then they slide it off, and then basically the taste has gone into the drink, and there is no fat.
Yeah, I don't like the taste of bacon or duck fat enough to want it in my cocktails. Is this something you enjoy, or was a general?
No, okay. I'm just saying. What's wrong with you? Are you from the Commonwealth or what? You're not like the taste of bacon, man. So ring you. Come on.
I like bacon fine. I just don't want to drink it.
Yeah, you never know till you try it.
And that's what's wrong with me. I think I've just described what's wrong with me. So. All right, so our last message comes from Sam. Sam says, "Hey, Brennan and Paul, I've been here since somewhere around episode 9 or 10, and it just keeps getting better. Well, thank you. Not much of the paranormal to share this time, other than a few episodes of getting some very strong, unexpected feelings in certain spaces. Since I've stopped deliberately shutting down any sensitivity I may have, I've gotten caught off guard twice. Once, I was at an estate sale and walked into the bedroom in the house, and immediately had a feeling I can only describe as the psychological equivalent of stepping in cat vomit on the way to the bathroom in the middle of the night. The room had the grossest, most slimy energy I have ever felt. Then last week I was in New York for the first time and got the most overwhelming feeling of anxiety walking through the main intake hall of Ellis Island. It only lasted for about 1 or 2 minutes, but it was significant enough that I almost got lightheaded. This trip to New York is the reason for my email. I know that things in the US are pretty scary right now, but know that there are still many of us who see what is happening and are doing our best to push back. Attached is a picture of 2 of my daughters doing one of her top picks of NYC activities, flipping off Trump Tower. As a father who is proudly raising 4 confident, outspoken feminists, this little act warms my heart, and I thought it may warm yours too. Keep up the great work, Sam. And Sam's included a photo. And Sam, it did, in fact, warm my heart.
It's an outstanding picture.
It really is. In times like these, we got to take the pleasures where they come.
Small wins.
Small wins. It's kind of also a funny coincidence that he references episode 9 when we had a comment from someone on episode 9.
That's a good way to bookend.
It's almost like I planned it that way. I didn't.
Wow.
But if I had, magic.
Maybe you did, but you don't realise. That's your power.
That would fit. Only realize I'm cursed to only figure out what I'm building after it's done. Yeah, that sounds like the Brennan Storr story.
Coming to the Hallmark Channel this fall.
All right. Well, thank you to everyone who wrote in, who commented on YouTube, Spotify, everywhere that you can possibly leave comments, Instagram, Facebook, all those great places. We love hearing from you guys. Keep it up. You can find us on Instagram as The Ghost Story Guys. We're on YouTube. We are on Reddit as r/Ghost Story Guys podcast. We are on Facebook as The Ghost Story Guys and The Ghost Story Guys Cabin, which is our private group. And we also have a private Discord, which you can get to by being a patron. Click the link in the show notes or head to patreon.com/ghoststoryguys to get access to that. You can also send us emails at ghoststoryguys@gmail.com, or you can send things in via the form on our website. We would love, love, love to hear more of your stories, your comments, your questions, all those good things. Again, it's what keeps us going. Paul, my friend, where can everyone find you online?
You can find Mysteries and Monsters lurking on the shadows of most social media platforms and podcast sites.
Fabulous. I'm largely the truth on Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd. You can find my horror fiction show Fear Daily everywhere you get your podcasts, and you can hear me narrating audiobooks on Audible. I have recorded not only my audiobook, but 2 of Ruth Roper Wild's books, These Haunted Times, Volume 5 and Volume 6. And again, you can get those on Audible. And of course, it would hardly be an episode of Talk Spooky without a song. This time around, I'm really happy to welcome back someone who was one of the first people we featured on the show. That is Elliot Wilder. Of course, Elliot, also known as The Revenants. He is, again, the fellow who sort of pushed me over into starting Night Harvest Recordings, the record label. It started with Peter from Pizzanta Music, and then once Elliot came on board, I thought, okay, this is more of an official thing now, because he has more than 100 albums, and this is going to take some work. And yeah, and Elliot, he's no longer producing work as The Revenants. He's now producing work under his own name, and his latest album, Non-Playable Character, has just come out. Elliot is, again, he's back on top. He is, I got to say, the guy is a survivor, man. He is fighting off cancer, and he is still playing drums in, I want to say, a ragtime band. And he played at the No Kings protest in Boston recently. He drummed there as well. So again, the man is in his, I think, mid to late 70s, and he's just a music-making machine. On this episode, you're going to be hearing See That My Grave Is Kept Clean, the 10th track from the latest Elliot Wilder record, Non-Playable Character. And he's joined on this track by Dave Westner, playing bass. All right, folks. Again, thank you so much for listening. We couldn't do this without you. We are deeply, deeply appreciative of every single one of you. We will be back next week with episode number 238. But until then, we will leave you with Elliot Wilder and See That My Grave Is Kept Clean.
There are 2 white horses following me. 2 white horses following me. I got 2 white horses following me, waiting on my burying ground. Did you ever hear that coughing sound? Ever hear that coughing sound? Did you ever hear that coughing sound? Means another poor boy is underground. Well, there is one kind favor I will ask of you. One kind favor I will ask of you. There's just one kind favor I will ask of you. Oh, yeah. There's just one kind favor I will ask of you. One kind favor I will ask of you. There's just one kind favor I will ask of you. Can you see that my grave is kept clean? Ever hear them church bells toll? Ever hear them church bells toll? Did you ever hear them church bells toll? Means another poor boy is dead and gone. Well, my heart stopped beating and my hands turned cold. My heart stopped beating and my hands turned cold. My heart stopped beating and my hands turned cold. Now I believe what the Bible told. Oh, yeah. Well, there is one kind favor I will ask of you. One kind favor I will ask of you. There's just one kind favor I will ask of you. Oh, yeah. covers. Ghosts under my covers. There are ghosts under my covers, and they plan to eat me alive. Well, that mean old devil is at my back. That mean old devil is at my back. Yeah, that mean old devil is at my back, and he is